souls. And we're from a group of churches, about 250 congregations, Lutheran congregations. One's in town here, Emmanuel. And we're riding all around northwestern Minnesota. We figured if we drove 150 miles on our bikes and dressed up in bright clothing, like people would pay attention to us. So we're doing that. But not to us so much, but to hunger and issues of hunger and eating well for everyone. So that's why we're doing this, riding our bikes all this way. I'm curious, how many of you like to ride bikes? Okay. How many of you like to ride bikes on sunny days? How many of you like to ride bikes on very windy, cold days? Hey, you guys want to come with today? All right. Well, it's great to be with you. Like I say, we're simply going from community to community and saying that all of us together, church people, people that aren't part of churches, everybody in communities, it's great when we all get together and help each other out and think about what would help for people not to be hungry at all, even sometimes, and have enough good food to eat, and to have good food to eat. And one of the places we wanted to go all along was to this school if possible, because you are the coolest school in the district, or the whole area, for having this greenhouse. And also for having a chance this summer to have a garden that you can all work in, and we'll talk about that more later. But it's just very cool. You're the people that make decisions, and adults, and the administration of the school, you know, they really kind of stepped out and let's do something really different and really cool. And they're doing it. So we wanted to come here and lift that up. But here's one great thing that people are doing to help people eat better. So it's great to be with you. We're just going to introduce ourselves quick. Like I said, I'm Steve. I actually live in Moorhead.
I'm Nate, and I come from St. Paul.
I'm Lisa Winter. I'm from here.
I'm Gary Van Huyck. I'm from south of Lake Park.
I'm Andrew. I'm from Bemidji.
Hey, great. And we're really glad you could all be here instead of what other class. I know that you're sad about missing today. And we'll turn it over to Nate.
Cool. So we're going to do some talking and some listening and some singing and some moving around this morning. And so, yay, yeah, yay. And so we're going to do an action song here, some song, kind of a song to move around. And one of the things that I'm learning as we bike around and visit different communities and see people gardening and see different farm activity and how people are taking care of those who are hungry, is how everything is connected. Everything is connected. How we treat our plants affects how our groundwater, so then if you take good care of the water that goes on your plants, well then the water that comes out of the faucet tastes better. And those kinds of things. If you have good jobs, then you have access to good food. And so the economy affects how we eat. These are all interconnected things. And so we're going to do a song that's about things being connected. All right, this is all connected. And so we just need to try out a few actions. First of all, I need to see you act like a tree. 1, 2, 3, go. What? Have you ever seen a tree sit down? What kind of trees do you have and what do you not? All right, there you go. Yes, very good. You're moving. There you go. Excellent. Okay, yes. I've heard of a weeping willow, but I've never seen it. Okay, so there's a tree. Let's see. What about how about a branch? A branch. Just one branch on the tree. There you go. And what about, a limb. First there has to be a limb on the tree. What's a limb like? Okay, then the branch. And then what about a twig? What would a twig look like? Yes, there you go. Yes. There's no right or wrong answer. You can, there's only participation. And, okay, what about a leaf? If there's a leaf, what would a leaf look like? There you go. How about a nest? Could you make a nest? There you go. Okay, and so we'll add a few more on there. And we'll do, this is an old folk song, so you've probably heard it at some point. You can stay standing. And as we learn the words, you can join in and help me out. The first part is an echo. I'll sing a line and you sing it back. There was a tree There was a tree, a pretty little tree, a pretty little tree, the prettiest little tree, a prettiest little tree that we ever did see, that we ever did see. And the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. All right, now you know how the song goes. It starts off with the tree. So now to the tree we're going to add a limb. So when I say limb, you make the action of a limb. When I say tree, you make the action of a tree. And then I'm not sure how you do a hole in the ground, but if you can come up with a hole in the ground, you can do it. There you go, yeah. A couple of you just disappeared underneath your seats, so that might be the way to be a hole in the ground. Oh, here's what you do. The hole in the ground, you go down, like under your seat or as close to that. And then when the green grass grows all around, then you can grow back up out of your seat. There you go. All right. Let's see. 9:35 on a Tuesday morning. I'd say you're doing pretty good. All right. So let's add something here. We'll add the limb. There was a limb. Oh no, that's not how it goes. Just go. On that tree, there was a limb. There was a limb. Prettiest little limb. That you ever did see. And the limb on the tree, and the tree on the ground, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. I feel like we're all learning this together, me especially. All right, so now we've got the limb on the tree. On that limb, there was a branch. The prettiest little branch that you ever did see. And the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree, and the hole in the ground. And the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. Oh, you guys are teaching me well. I almost got it. All right. Let's see what happens. On that branch, there was a twig. The prettiest little twig that you ever did see. All right, so we're going to add them all together. Twig on the branch, here we go. And the twig on the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree, and the hole in the ground. The green grass grew all around, the green grass grew all around. I'm impressed, this is going well. On that twig, was a leaf, the prettiest little leaf that you ever did see. On the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the hole in the ground. And the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. On that leaf, there was a nest, the prettiest little nest that you ever did see. And the nest on the leaf, and the leaf on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree, and the hole in the ground. And the green grass grew all around, all around. And in that nest was a bird, the prettiest little bird that you ever did see. Let's see if we can get them all. And the bird in the nest, and the nest on the leaf, and the leaf on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree, and the hole in the ground. All around, all around, and the green grass grew all around. Nicely done! All right, that was great. Now let's get our attention back over to Steve.
Give yourselves a hand. That's great. Okay, now it's time to play How Well Do You Know Your Vegetables and Fruits? Who knows a wild berry that grows naturally in Minnesota? Whoa, you guys know pretty well. Okay. Name 4 ways you can mix potatoes, cook potatoes. Okay, 1. A pan with onions. Cut them and mash them up. Boil them. Bake them. We're going to get one. Yeah. What, you got one? You take with yours? Okay. Oh, French fries you mean? Yeah. Great. Yeah. Yeah.
Slice them up and then cook them with sauce.
Oh, spices on them? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Hash browns, yes.
Make them into potato chips.
Potato chips. Yeah, nobody here likes potato chips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Over here, one at a time. Yep. Mashed potatoes. I don't think we have that yet. Maybe put some gravy on them. Yeah. What? Eat them raw. Yes. Eat it raw. Yeah. Boiled potatoes. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Sweet potatoes. All right. Okay, one more. Scalloped potatoes. I don't know, what do we have to do? Like 10 or 12? Yeah. You guys didn't know if you knew your... I said one more, but... Okay, everyone that has their hand up right now will talk. All right.
Rotten potatoes.
What?
Rotten potatoes.
Rotten potatoes?
Yeah, don't be like
That sounds good. Yeah. Okay, one more. Okay, next question. This will be the last question. What is a vegetable that has beta carotene in it and helps you see well?
Part of this presentation. We've been riding our bikes around and talking to all kinds of people who are working on this problem that some people are hungry. In fact, quite a few people are hungry. And sometimes they have to go to bed hungry, or they come to the end of the month and their family doesn't have food. And that can happen to a lot of people, and we've kind of been finding that out. And I don't want you to say if you are that person, but I do want you to think about how can that happen to a family? How can it be that they don't have enough food? Yeah. Exactly. They don't have enough money. And yes? Exactly. Maybe they don't have, maybe they had jobs and they lost their job. Yep. They couldn't find people to help them. Exactly. Good answers. Yes.
Bad crops.
Exactly.
Eating over Michael.
Right. Everything's good.
Oh, everything.
Exactly. We experience that around here. Yeah. They probably wouldn't have that in Minneapolis, but exactly here. So yeah, those are some of the reasons why sometimes people don't have enough food to eat. And I guess what I want to tell you is a story, a true story. And my point is that that can happen to any of us, absolutely anybody. And things like losing your job, or maybe your car breaking down, or nobody mentioned getting sick, that would be another one, or everything has been hunted, that could happen to any of us. So last night, Andrew and I were staying with somebody who was actually a teacher here, used to be. His name was Tony. And he was telling the story of how that had happened to him. And I was just amazed, because this is like this really successful, popular teacher. Used to teach here at WDC. And who would have thought, you know? So anyway, he was telling us that he had, I think, been going through a job resume process. And somebody had told him that one of the things he should do was to write this essay, write this story of somebody who had really influenced him, had been a big inspiration. And he thought about that, and he thought, well, I'm going to write about my aunt. She was just this important person to me when I was little. So he wrote up this story about his aunt. And then the person who was helping him with this said, well, you should tell your aunt. You should actually tell your aunt that she was so important to you when you were little. So he called up his aunt and he said, you know, I just wrote this story and I was trying to remember, you know, you really helped me when I was a kid, and I was trying to think of exactly what that situation was. And she said, you know, Tony, the reason you ended up at my house and that I was a part of your life at that point is that you had no home. Your parents had lost their jobs and you had no place to live, and you guys came to live with us for a while. And he didn't, you know, he was 4 years old when that happened. So he remembered his aunt, but he didn't remember the reasons why they were living with the aunt. And so the reason I'm telling you that is that here's this really successful person, you know, and things happened in his life, nobody's fault, but he ended up homeless and without enough to eat for a while. So I think things that we can take from that is that, you know, it probably happens to some of the people here. And there are things you can do about it. Can you think of any things that kids can do? No, his name was Tony Plates. And you guys are too young. He retired, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. And he's doing great. I mean, he has a really beautiful house on a lake, and, you know, who would have thought? But that was him. This is a total real person. Yeah.
Probably plants and gardens.
Yeah. Excellent.
If there's farmland or something, maybe grow some sweet corn, potatoes, whatever.
And find a way to share it. And you know what? A lot of times, you don't find out about people, right? Why? Because they're embarrassed, right? If you don't have enough food at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you don't exactly want to tell your friends. But if you do find that out, then you could do exactly what you were saying. And maybe in a lunch situation, well, maybe the person by you doesn't have enough, and you could share that, and not, you know, and not make them feel bad about it. Any other thoughts on that? Yeah. Yeah, there are things kids could do.
Take some food out of your cupboard and share it.
Thank you guys for such a, there are ways. Thank you for your help.
So sometimes it's kind of bumps you out. It makes you feel sad to know that there's so many folks in this country that don't have enough. But what's also great is that there's people like you that care about this and have ideas for how you can work towards making sure there's enough for everyone. And that's really a lot of what this ride is about that we're on, is helping people connect with the resources to be part of something better, of a change. Because this land that we live in, this is our land, this is our country, this is your city, this is where you take care of each other, and we get to do that. We have the freedom in this country to take care of one another. And so we'll do another old folk song here. This is, we're still lobbying for it, but someday it'll be our national anthem. And so you probably know how it goes, the chorus. want to know what the incentive is for knowing it? Me? If I wrote it? Yeah, almost. Not quite. A little bit before me. I wish I did. I'd be a bajillionaire. Not person. A person, yes. A man named Woody Guthrie wrote that song. And he wrote verses. Woody Guthrie was a folk singer, which means he sang with and for people. And one of the beautiful things about folk songs is that they, if you sing it the same way twice, well then it's not a folk song. So we get to switch up this song and make it our own. And so let's try singing it together. We'll sing a verse and then maybe a new verse too. This land is your land. Here we go. This land is your land. This land is mine. California.
From someplace before that. It actually comes from this little earth. So up here, these four in green shirts are your actors for charades. You know what charades are? Yes. Okay. But this is a very special kind of charade. It all has to do with food, where our food comes from. So it's kind of food and garden charades. What we're going to do, though, is these four are going to be acting out the same action, and all of you will need to mimic that. And then some of you, I'm going to be calling some volunteers who will need to look at all of you who are mirroring these people. So let's practice this mirroring. Okay? Pretend you're our tree. Stand up. Okay? What are they acting out? What are they acting out? They are trees. Okay, so trees. So you can sit down. Sit down. And I need some volunteers who are good at that. Yep, come on up. Yep. And then classic straight sweatshirt, you come on up. And camouflage. So you four stand over here. But you're going to be our first guest. So I need to get my actors ready. So for this part, you need to zip it. Got it? Alright, actors, now you will not be able to look at them. You will only look out there. Because these people are going to be doing the action, then everybody out there is going to be copying it. So you need to guess what the action is based on the action that they're doing. So you want to just step right on up here. Team, huddle up. This is what we're going to be doing. Okay. So you will need to copy the action that they are doing. Ready, set, go. Okay, pause. Microphone, what do you think it is? They are picking up a crop. Yes, we were actually thinking they're picking weeds, but you really can't tell the difference sometimes between a weed or a crop. Good job, thank you. So tell me what team won.
You know,
Hello.
these guys have been on the bicycle for what, 4 or 5 days?
4 days so far.
One of the things they need to do is what?
Eat.
Enjoy. I told this guy last night he wasn't going to get anything.
The rabbit portion.
Okay, that gives us energy to do another round of these charades. Our next guesser is you. Come on up right beside here. Team, okay, you need to be quiet. I need to fill them. Fill them in. Yeah, good. Okay. So this is another one that has to do with food and the garden. You're only looking out that way. You all are mirroring, copying what these guys are doing. Ready, set, action.
Food fight!
Okay, stop. I think you got it. What's your name? Clayton. Do you have a guess as to what was happening? They're throwing something, that's pretty good. So what's something red that grows in a garden that sometimes can become rotten?
Oh, come on.
A radish, yep. Yep, what's something red that goes in spaghetti sauce? Yeah, so when you're working in the garden, sometimes you can have fun by throwing things like rotten tomatoes. Thank you. Now we have one more, and this will kind of be, I think, our way to wrap up. So both of you get to come out and guess together. So again, you're just watching them, and they're copying everybody else. Okay, ready? Are all of you channeling your best actor? I'm already. Okay. Okay. So you're watching very closely. Ready, set, go. Now, you two, what are your names? Tony? Emma? What did you see happening? Eating fruits and vegetables and getting stronger. You know what? This shirt used to be like so big on me, and then I started eating fruits and vegetables, and now you see how tight it is? Yeah, all muscle. It could be that too. So, but the point of the story is when we eat this awesome food like Ed just brought, you know what? It does our brain good, it does our bodies good, and it gives us a good life. So thanks. That's it.
Cody Norman, Jordan Holstead, Alex Boyd, Ben Finch, Priyanka, please.
Okay, our time is about up. Just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. One, any chance you get to work with this crazy guy Ed here in the greenhouse, He's a great guy. He grows vegetables. He's a great guy. But any chance you get to work in the greenhouse with him, take it up. In the summer, there's going to be a special garden project that you all can help with through the summer rec program. So you can eat vegetables and get strong. And I tell you, it's really a rush. Just plant the seed and then later on eat the vegetable from the seed that you planted. You'll get a chance to do that this summer through the summer rec program. Leave you with two thoughts. Let's care for each other, and let's feel good about caring for each other. Let's receive care from each other. Sometimes some of us have hard times and don't have enough. The rest of us want to share it with you during that time. All of us, any chance we get, you guys gave some great examples of helping with the food shelf and different things. Let's help and care for each other, and let's eat well. Let's eat well so we're big and strong, and we can do the things that the world needs us to do. So it can be a good place to live. So give yourselves a hand.